Good morning, guys. Thank you very much for joining for this conference so far. Despite it's been a Saturday. Uh, so I'm Hansamali Gamage. I'm Azure MVP and I currently work in Yukon Software as Associate Technical Lead. So today in my session, I am going to talk about how to develop web API development with .NET, and how we can publish that API to Azure with Open API, and how we can create Azure API management instance, and at the end how we can create a very simple Power Apps by consuming that published API. So if you are new to Power Apps, so I'm also new, so you can follow with me if you have the Azure subscriptions also, and I will show you the repo link I have used, so you can follow with me as well if you have the necessary resources. Okay, so what is this the Open APIs? So Open API is kind of a set of specification that has been published to generate web API documentation for the developers who are developing the API, and also the consumers who are going to consume the API. So this Open API is has built-in support with .NET 5. So if you want to create a .NET 5 API project, so you will see a tick box to tick. That tick box is automatically checked to have the Open API features with the Web API project. So you have to install the Swashbuckle ASP.NET Core reference in order to generate this the API documentation from the Open API. I guess most of the developers are familiar with Swagger tools. So it's just the show the API documentation, and what are the things we can do in the API, and also a very nice text explorer in the browser you can launch with this Swagger Open API definition. And also you have something called nswag. So if you have enabled or if you have installed nswag into your project, you can generate your clients as well for the API. It's just not only the APIs, you can generate your clients as well if you download and install nswags in your project. So I will just go to Visual Studio. So I will create a new instance of Visual Studio and try to create a new API project. So I have installed .NET 5. I hope you guys also have installed .NET 5 into your machine. So I will first create a new project. And you can see ASP.NET Core Web application is available here. So let's click on the next. Let's provide a name to the project and create. Then you will have the option to select whether you are going for a web application or web API project, and you want Angular likewise. So we are trying to create a web API project. You can see the available framework, and with .NET Core you can see the available versions in my machine. So I have clicked on ASP.NET Core Web API and create. So before that, you can see this Open API support is already built in for .NET 5 Web API project. So if you select empty project, that's not visible. Okay, so let's create our first Web API project on .NET 5 with Open API. So this is the famous weather forecast controller you will be seeing. Yep. So this one. So if I go into the entity model is this weather forecast. If I expand controllers and go to weather forecast controller, you will be able to see this get method. So let's try to run this one, and you can so I will select web browser as Google Chrome and then start without debugging. So it will be launched my browser. Okay, so we close these two tabs. So you can see the Swagger definition. Swagger is opened like this, and it's a very nice Swagger UI. It's not like the earlier version. It's bit rich and has like nice colorful kind of environment. You can try out your APIs in here. So yeah, so if you click on the get, and you will see we don't have any parameters. You will see what kind of a response we are getting, and you can change these to JSON format as well. And if we click on try it out, and then we don't have to provide any parameters, so let's execute, then you will see the response like this. Okay, it's just the basic kind of a sample we have done in here. So if you so this is the demo I'm trying to do today. So if I go to my other project, I think all of you can see the fonts correctly. So this is one of the GitHub repo I have downloaded. So from Brady Guest. So if I show you the repo for you guys to try out. Yeah, this is the one. This is the place that his GitHub repos are. So if you go to repositories and find out recipe API, so and you can clone this the project here. So this is the URL of the clone project. So I will be trying to create so this project is already created. I will be trying to go through the Swagger definition and also REPL, HTTP REPL with this project, and we'll be publishing this to Azure, and that API will be consumed from the Power Apps. Okay, so if we go into the heart of the program, it's the program.cs. So from the I will not go into deep, just the new features in .NET 5 and how we have integrated the Swagger. So those things will be discussed in here. So if we go to the startup class, so here in the configure services, so I will be using a Cosmos database. So this is mainly going to show up the recipes available. So if I show you a sample of Power App available, that's like this. So if I it's just a very basic Power Apps. So if we go and say show all recipes, it will be showing up all the recipes available in your database in your store. So So that's what we are trying to do in this API project. So basically in the API project we have recipes controller and ingredients controller. All of these data will be stored in Azure Cosmos database. So I have added the Cosmos repository here. So this is a new library I have used for this to have this Cosmos repository. So previously it was like you have to install the Azure Cosmos references and you have to create your own client, and the Cosmos accessing the Cosmos database using a repository was not that famous. So I have used this if you go into the manage NuGet packages, you will be able to see the necessary the packages. I have used this Azure Cosmos repository package to get the Cosmos to access the Cosmos database using a repository pattern. So it's really easy. You don't have to do many things. This Cosmos repository package also working with Microsoft Azure Cosmos library. So uh, so this is that the configurations we have added with the connection string and the database ID, and this is the Swagger service with the Open API document generation. And in the configure also we have mentioned we have added this Swagger with the version 2. And this will be the Swagger endpoint with the recipes API version 1. So if we go to the recipes controller, uh, so you can see some get methods and post methods. This is the first get method. So we have to provide the name of the API method. So in Open API document generation, it will be creating operation ID for each and every API available in your web API project. And that's necessary to add a little bit of description about the API method as well. Then the people who are going to consume the API, it will be really helpful for them to understand what's happening. And this is retrieving the recipes by passing the ID. So the HTTP get ID and the name. And also this is with the search endpoint. This is the search endpoint, and you have to provide the name of the recipe to search a recipe available in the database. Then this is the post, the create recipe, and this is a put operation to update a recipe with the ingredient. So you have to pass the ID of the recipe and pass the necessary parameters for that in the forms body. If we go to the request, and with that request you have to pass the ingredient name, unit of measure and amount. So this is the recipes API and this is the ingredients API. That's also consist of uh, get and the search ingredients, and also uh, with the post to create a new ingredient. So first of all, now we have almost selected the web browser with as Google Chrome, and I will say start without debugging. Then the Swagger definition will be opened up in the browser like this. Okay, so I'm running this on Kestrel, and you will be able to see all the requests that's going to the server in this window. So if we try to click on the get ingredients, before that I will go to the Visual Studio Code and then show up this is the ingredient control and these are the methods available. And you can see the first method is the endpoint is slash recipes, the get method in here. So it's going to get all the So this is the recipes. So this is the ingredients one. It's going to get all the ingredients, the summary of the comments you have added in the API method will be available in here with the get method. So likewise, the endpoint. Search endpoint is shown like this to get all the recipes that contains a specific ingredient, and search a recipe with the name that's also will be available like this, and the post one. So if we quickly go through the recipes control as well, you will be seeing the same thing. I just want to show you the post one, sorry, the put operation that's available. So get all recipes and create a recipe, the post one here, this one, and get recipe by ID, this one, and this recipe search with the name of the recipe, and the put one with the ID to add an ingredient to an existing recipe, that's also there. So the first of all, let's go with the basic API endpoint get one. And if we, so you can see the same as the earlier one I showed you, the weather forecast controller, you can see the parameters and response. So we don't have any parameters, so I will click on execute. You will be able to get all the recipes available. Sorry, all the ingredients available like this. And so if you want to try out to create a new ingredient, so I have to pass a ingredient name, like let's say salt, and execute. So it will be showing you the response with the 201 created, like this. Okay, so yeah, so I'm not going to go through all of these things. So let's go with the recipe, get all the recipes, and so you will be able to see all the recipes here. And let's try to create a new recipe. Let's see, pizza, and the recipe is created. Now I want to add some ingredients to the recipe. I want to get the recipe ID. So the recipe ID is this one, and you have to provide this ingredients name. Let's see, kilo, and some other like butter. Like 25. Yeah, let's say 500 grams, and execute. So now our recipe is almost ready. Let's go to get. Here we have to get the ID of the recipe and go to recipe ID and provide the recipe ID and execute. Oh, I think this the wrong recipe ID I have provided. So let's go to the get all recipes. So we have banana bread, we have peanut butter bread, and we have pizza. Beside that, we have some ingredients. This is the recipe ID. So if I go to here, I have these codes. That's why. Then you can get the recipe like this. So very nice UI for you guys to test your APIs. But if you are like a command line, so you are a command line tool fan, like you want CLI to do everything, so that's enable with the HTTP REPL here. So I have installed HTTP REPL to my solution. So when you have done that, you can close your Visual Studio and restart, and you have to select HTTP REPL here. That option will be available once you have installed HTTP REPL. So you can select that, and let's say start without debugging, then it will be open up this window. So with this one, you can do the same thing as Swagger. So this is the API endpoint we have. I go to Swagger here. Yeah. So we have ingredients and recipes. So if we say yes, so you can see what are the available endpoints in your API. So if you want to move into maybe ingredients, so you can see what are the available operations that you have, get and post operations. So if you go more into LS, you can see the search operation. Those things are available. So if you want to get all the ingredients, so you have already have the get operation. I guess you can see this once. So then you can say get. It will list down all the ingredients, the same as this one. Okay. So now I will try to go to the recipes. Now we are in the ingredients. So you have to say cd double dot. Then you will be moved back to root. And if we say ls, we have ingredients and recipes now. And cd and recipes. Now we are in recipes. So you can see the endpoints and the operations we have in recipe. So if you say the get here, so you will be able to get all the recipes here, same as this one. So now I'm trying to post a recipe, to create a new recipe. So if I say post, okay, we get this issue since we haven't provided any default maybe the default editor to create the post request. When you say post, you have to provide the request body. So for that you have to set the default editor, maybe the notepad or Visual Studio Code or the Visual Studio. So for that let's try to set up that one. So you have to say ref, and you have available commands here. So f set editor dot command dot. So you have to provide the I'm so sorry about, I'm not very proficient in conducting these online sessions. We want to move back to my this thing. So you have to provide this the path to your notepad exe, or maybe the Visual Studio if you want to use Visual Studio Code, Visual Studio Code exe. So since we are running out of time, I will not be doing that. So if you
Like,
remember when.
Ansumali, you
Yeah.
can, yeah, you can just close the presentation. So then it will just show your screen.
Okay.
Yeah,
Point slides, right?
and it's okay. You can just continue the demo. So we can give you another extra 10 minutes to finish your demo. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So you can close the session and then yes,
Yeah.
now we can share the screen. Yeah.
So, so when you have some time and when you are going through this one, just try out this command. You have to provide the actually the place for your Visual Studio Code that, or else maybe the, if you want to use the Notepad, the path for that exe. Since we don't have that much of time and we had to have another demo, so this is how we can play with the REPL, HTTP REPL. That's also same as Swagger, but if you are more into a CLI and you are a fan of that, you can use that. So it's pretty easy to create a GET request and also a POST request. Yeah, that's all about the first demo. So now in the second demo, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to publish this API into Azure. So I guess all of you have done that in your lifetime since we are developers. So let's click on publish, and I will create a new profile and click on new Azure, and then next Azure App Service on Windows. Next, and you will be seeing your subscriptions, and I already have Azure App Service instance, but I will not be using that. I will be creating a new one. So you can say recipe API and create. So it will be creating your Azure App Service here. So I will show you the app service I have created. If I go to home, uh, and all resources, uh, you will be able to see the this app service I have created. So with that, I have created my API management service as well. So let's check whether this is done. Yeah. So I have created my app service, and then when I click on next, it will be going to API management section. So you can enable API management for your web API project as well. I already have a one instance, but I will create a new one. Let's see. Sure. And we don't have to provide a API URL. I will say cancel and try out again. I don't know why that uh, create button is not enabled. Maybe let's try to create a new API management service. new. Yeah, I want to say dot conf maybe. Okay, and then create. So it will be creating me a new API management instance for my API. So this is the one I have created for my previous one. So if this is going to take some time, so we will go with this one. So you will be able to create your API management instance here, and you can see in the background we have some another dependency, that's your database. So we have to create the database as well. So the database we are using is this one. So if you go to the data explorer, you will be able to see the recipes and ingredients we saw. So we have the ingredients like this, and if we go to the recipes, so we have the recipes like this. Okay, so let's check whether this is done. Yeah, so now you can finish this. So you have the .NET Conf recipe API as API management instance. So I will say finish. Now I want to configure the Azure Cosmos DB. That's all. So now it will show us a warning mark. Yes. So the Azure API management is configured, and let's try to configure the Cosmos DB. So I already have a Cosmos DB. If not, you can create a Cosmos DB. I just want to show you how to create a Cosmos DB from this Visual Studio. The resource name for that we can see and create. So it will be creating in the background. So I will not wait until that completes. So I will go to the APIs we have so far, and the new API will be shown like this .NET Conference API, and this is the API management instance. So I will go there and I will show you how we can check our API and how we can test our API with our API management service instance. So you can create your APIs and do proper versionings, and you can get your uh, APIs definitions and documentations and specification to another parties with this Azure API management. You will have a proper control and proper versioning system inside this API management service. That's the beauty of using this. So if we go to the all APIs here, and in the design section, we haven't published that yet. So we are still in the process of creating the Cosmos DB, and you can see the connection string is almost there with your new Cosmos DB. If I show you the connection string, so you will be able to see the keys and everything. So if I say next and finished, and let's try to publish this. So all the dependencies are created, and let's publish this one. When it's complete, you will be able to see your APIs here. So it's not available for now, so I will go with my the previous API manager I have created. So then in here you will be able to see the APIs we had almost in this Swagger. the recipe API. We have given the name as recipe API in the startup class, if you remember this one. So we have all the APIs here. The background that our API is also published. So those are the operations. So you can let's go to the basic one, like get all ingredients and go to test. You will be able to test this one and get the result. So we'll wait for some time. Yeah, like this. The beauty in here is now I'm trying to create a Power App with this API. So you can export your API. When you click on export API, you can export it to multiple places with the to a JSON document, and also you have the freedom of creating a Power Apps or a Power Automate with this API built in Azure. So when you click on Power Apps and Power Automate, it will be directed to your Power Apps environment, and you can provide a display name and say export. So then, so I already have that API available. So I will say .NET conf and export. So it will be exported into your Power Apps environment. If I logged into my Power Apps environment, like here, so this is the home, and if you go into data and you have custom connectors, so the API will be exported into these custom connectors in Power Apps. So you can see the previous one and the ones we have done. So in here what you can do is so you can consume this the connector all OMails, the web API we have developed using the Power App. So you can go to Power Apps and click on create. Let's create a blank application, a very basic application, and give a new name for this one. And create. So it will be launched in the your Power Apps in Designer view. So you want to connect to data. When you click on that, you will be able to see the connectors available. So you can use the recipe API or say connection to this one, connect. Okay, and then this is the sample Power App I have used. So I will not be creating all the buttons and everything here. So this is, I have two screens. This is the first screen, the home. So I have get a button and create action for this button as this. So I have used this clear collect, and I have created the recipes collection, and I have called this API with the name of the API. So with the name of the API, I have called this get recipes method. So that's how these recipes are shown into the screen. So let's wait for some time. Yeah, we have that recipe. I haven't done so many things in here. You can have a navigation for the details of the recipes to check the ingredients. I haven't done that. And also if you want, you can search for the recipe as well. I have integrated that endpoint. So with this button here, I have called the search recipes by name one. Yeah, that's all about the Power Apps. And when you are going to add that connector into your Power App, so if I go into here, so this is the my old connector I have used. So you have to provide the security as the no authentication here, and also in your API manager instance, also you have to say you don't want any authentications. So if not, we have to provide the keys and everything. So that's a bit of mess when you are working with this kind of a demo. So you have to do that from the Azure side as well as in the Power App side. So after that, you can go to definitions, and then you will be able to see all the APIs available, and also you can test that as well. So if we go into this one and try out in the browser, so that will also work, that thing, that it's just a get request. So that's all about the second demo. So I have a few more things in my PowerPoint slide. I will show that to you guys. So we have talked about this swashbuckle ASP.NET Core reference. Since we have that one, we have got the Swagger definition in our project, and also this API management instance is also getting created because of this. So we have talked about HTTP. We have used HTTP REPL. So HTTP REPL is like a cross-platform, lightweight command line kind of tooling mechanism that's integrated for the web API. So if you are a fan of command line tool, then you can use that instead of Swagger. So this REPL means read, eval, this read, eval, print, and loop. So if you just want to have a comparison between the Swagger and HTTP REPL. So these both are to the Swagger is more likely to generate the REST documentation tool to test the APIs for developers and for the consumers. That's if you have the Swashbuckle library in your project, Swagger will be enabled in your APIs. So HTTP REPL is more likely for a command line tool. You can explore your APIs same as the directories in your machine, like with the cd commands and the ls commands. And if you want to know about the differences between the Swagger and the open api is just a specification for documenting the capabilities in your API. So with the Swagger, you can test your APIs, and you can have a nice UI for the developers, and developers who are going to consume the APIs. And also if you want to outsource the APIs to a different team or a different company, that will be really useful. The Swagger definitions are. Uh, so we had this demo. We went through the Swagger Open API and how we can use the HTTP REPL. And then the in the Azure API management Azure side, we publish our the API, and also we create Azure API management instance, and we saw how to test your APIs with Azure API management. So likewise, uh, and also we had this demo. We published our app service to Azure and to a API management instance, and we created a Power Apps consuming that API. So those are the things I planned for today. I think my time is almost, I have used more 5 minutes as well. So if you have any questions, you can ask me. Uh, Thanks for joining. So these are my contact information. If you have any more questions, my Twitter handle, my mail, and my GitHub repo if you want to follow some stuff on Azure functions and Graph API. So thank you very much for joining my session and for this conference, despite being a Saturday. In the holiday season is like almost starting. Thanks for joining us, and it will be really great if you could provide me your feedback on my session. I guess you guys are familiar with this screen. In the rate event, you have to if you have a QR code reader, just send provide your feedback. You will be getting an email into your inbox to verify that you are the one who sent me the feedback. So please confirm that. Then only it will be showed inside the website. So thank you very much.